It's winter season here, and baking is one of my favorite when I'm at home. So tonight, I'm gonna create another recipe of goodies, especially that I have to give to my children. And this is the caramel salted chocolate chip infused. So everyone, please join me in creating this recipe. So instead of the traditional melting of butter and also adding it into the sugar and cream it later, I add the 3/4 cup of butter which I doubled up and I put it into high heat. So what we're gonna do is to let the butter to melt at about 4 to 5 minutes. So what we're gonna do is to let the butter melt, let the bubble arise, and let the bubble subside later on. The smell of the butter in the pan gives a very good aroma in the kitchen, and this is the consistency that we want to meet because the browning of the butter gives more flavor to the cookie that we're gonna make. So then we can proceed adding the dry ingredients, the brown sugar and also the granulated white sugar. And then we can add the brown butter into the sugar itself. So the next one that we're gonna add is a teaspoon of the vanilla, which I doubled also, and then we're gonna whisk it until it's all set into a very creamy consistency. The next thing that I'm gonna add is a salted caramel sauce. This is a really game changer because this is the one that I infused in baking a chocolate chip cookie. So keep stirring all the ingredients until all well combined and it becomes runny in consistency. Also, we can add by this time 1 piece of egg which are doubled up, and it become 2 eggs that I'm gonna beat in a very brisk manner. What I usually do when I'm baking is I sift the flour or other dry ingredients. But by this time, I gradually add the flour onto the wet ingredients. The reason why I add it gradually because I don't want any white or any leftover of flour into the middle of any cookies later on. So patiently, we will gradually and step by step adding all the flour until we're gonna finish it. We can shift from whisker to spatula because by this time the mixture is gonna be sticky, so it's really impossible for us to whisk it. So spatula is the number one tool for this time. And to add a crunch at the bite is also a 1/4 cup of the rolled oats. It's the regular rolled oats. And as I said, I doubled up the recipe, so it become 1/2 cup of the rolled oats. And this is the secret to make it really crunchy but chewy in the inside. I add about 1 tablespoon times 2 of the cornstarch, and then I mix it again. This recipe calls for a sea salt or the rock salt, but I don't have it in my kitchen. So I also add a tablespoon of the baking soda. And I mix it thoroughly so that the baking soda, the salt, and also the oats that I add lately will be well combined. If you have a little one by your side, you will see them very excited, asking, "Mom, can I have some?" Yes, and of course. So the proportion is half and half. Half of the semi-chocolate dark chips and also the butterscotch chips. So we will just combine it and then we will scoop it into our baking tray. So I line our baking tray with a parchment paper because sometimes cookies stick into the baking pan, especially when there is a chocolate chip added onto it. So I preheated also the oven at around 375 degrees 15 minutes before I bake the cookies. So let's go to the most exciting part, scooping the mixture into the baking tray, and then when it's ready, we will just put it inside the oven at around 10 minutes or so. You have to check the doneness of your cookies because sometimes the oven is too hot. The best part on baking a cookie is to watch them from a ball into going flat. And this is the result of our baked cookie. We need to slam it once, twice, or thrice so that it will have the air pressed down on the center. Isn't it lovely to have these cookies in the morning or even in lunchtime after you eat lunch or even dinner time? Or even you can share it to your friends or families. This is holiday givings and loving. So here's my chocolate chip cookies infused with butterscotch salted caramel. And if you are new at my channel, please don't forget to hit the notification bell and subscribe. God bless everyone. Stay safe.